Today I decided I wanted to talk about inflation because I don't know about what kind of conversations you're having with your friends, but I know with my friends, we're often talking about the cost of everything and how much it's going up. Well, inflation is making these things happen. Now, we had inflation of over 12.5% back in the 80s. Now, currently, the statistics are showing we're at inflation less than 2%. They're saying 1.7. But if you've been to the grocery store lately, it feels and seems like everything has gone up 30, 40, 50%. That's not a 1.7% inflation rate. You would think that it would be very comfortable right now that it's finally gone back down from where it was. But what happens with inflation is if you don't have things such as your investments diversified well enough to keep ahead of inflation, you're going to fall behind. I remember when I was growing up and my friend's mom had a grocery list and bought the same items because every day of the week, she had the same meal plan. So if you were having, say, meatloaf on Thursday, she had meatloaf every Thursday, which meant if she bought a pound of hamburger meat, she needed it to be the same price in order to stick within her budget. Because back then, her husband controlled the money, gave her so much money for groceries, and it could not deviate outside that. But what was happening is that inflation was happening and prices were going up, which meant she needed to have more money from her husband in order to buy the same groceries that she bought every week when she went grocery shopping. I remember in the early 90s, I met a gentleman who had bought an annuity, and back then, he got it double-digit interest rate. He was laughing all the way to the bank, but people that would have regular, I'll say, savings found that their interest was going down to the point where we have accounts that are paying very little interest, in a lot of cases, not even 1% annually. Well, that means that if you keep your money in savings, how are you going to keep up with the inflation rate? They say at 1.7, but say you're only getting 0.5% or 1% in your bank account. You need investments that diversify a lot more than that in order to keep up with it. And if you have dividend-paying investments, that will help you with inflation. Because you need your money to grow and work for you as long as you're still alive and needing to take an income from that money. But if you want to know how inflation is impacting you, your family, and your portfolio, give us a call at Levesque Wealth Planning. We'd be happy to sit down and talk to you and maybe show you how you can tweak your portfolio so that you stay ahead of inflation. Again, it's a free call. So if you want to know more, do it today. I'm Linda Levesque of Levesque Wealth Planning of IA Private Wealth saying, you asked, we answered. Until next time.